Listen up. Most people go through life never tapping into their true potential. They settle, they make excuses, they live in the shadow of fear, of doubt, of laziness. They never get uncomfortable. And let me tell you this, you will never find your true potential in comfort. Growth doesn't happen where it's easy. It happens where it's hard, where it's painful, where most people quit. The first step to finding your true potential is being real with yourself, brutally real. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I living up to my capabilities? If the answer is no, and for most of us, then it's time to take action. Stop lying to yourself. Stop blaming your circumstances, your past, or other people. Nobody's coming to save you. You've got to save yourself. Your potential is not some magical gift handed to you. It's earned. It's the result of showing up every single day, putting in the work, and refusing to settle. You think greatness is reserved for some chosen few. It's not. The difference between them and you is the willingness to suffer, to grind, to outlast. They didn't stop when it got hard, they pushed harder. Every day you have a choice. You can be the person who talks about what they're going to do, or you can be the person who actually does it. Talk is cheap. Action is everything. When you commit to action, when you push through the mental and physical barriers, you'll discover strength you didn't know you had. That's when you start unlocking your true potential. But here's the catch. It's never a one and done deal. Finding your potential is a never-ending process. Every time you reach a new level, you realize there's more in the tank, more to give, more to learn, and more to prove to yourself, not to anyone else. Your potential is a fight against your doubts, your fears, your weaknesses. But that fight, it's what makes you stronger. It's what turns you into the person you were meant to be. And when you finally start living at that level, when you stop running from the work and embrace it, that's when life opens up. So ask yourself right now, am I ready to stop settling? Am I ready to suffer for what I want? If the answer is yes, then get up, get out, and get to work. Your potential is waiting, but it's not going to find you. You have to go out there and take it. Now stop listening and go earn it. Growth only happens outside your comfort zone. It's a fact most people ignore because stepping into discomfort is hard. It's painful, it's scary, and it's unpredictable. But here's the reality. Everything you want, every goal, every dream, every ounce of untapped potential exists on the other side of that discomfort. Staying where it's safe might feel good temporarily, but it's also the fastest way to ensure you'll never discover what you're truly capable of. Comfort is seductive. It whispers to you that you've done enough, that you deserve a break, that you don't need to push any further. But comfort is a liar. It's the enemy of progress. Comfort keeps you in a bubble, repeating the same routines, thinking the same thoughts, doing the same things day in and day out. And guess what? If you keep doing the same things, you'll keep getting the same results. There's no growth in stagnation. There's no evolution in repetition. Your potential is screaming for you to break free, but you can't hear it if you're busy clinging to what's easy. When you step into discomfort, something powerful happens. Your body, your mind, and your spirit start adapting. They begin to rise to the challenge. At first, it feels impossible. Your muscles burn, your mind screams for you to stop, and every part of you wants to quit. But if you stay in that moment, if you fight through it, something shifts. You realize that the limits you thought existed were just illusions. They weren't real. They were built by your own fear, your own self-doubt, and your own unwillingness to try. Discomfort forces you to grow because it exposes your weaknesses. It shows you exactly where you need to improve. That's why most people avoid it. Nobody wants to face the truth about where they're lacking. But avoiding discomfort doesn't make those weaknesses go away, it only hides them. And hidden weaknesses have a way of controlling you from the shadows. When you willingly embrace discomfort, you shine a light on those weak spots. You bring them to the surface and give yourself the chance to strengthen them. Think about the first time you tried something difficult, a long run, a challenging workout, a high-pressure job, or even a tough conversation. It was uncomfortable, wasn't it? Maybe you failed. Maybe you wanted to give up. But over time, as you stuck with it, you got better. That's the power of discomfort. It builds resilience. Every time you push past the point where you want to quit, you become a little stronger. You build a little more grit. And that grit is the foundation of your true potential. The beauty of discomfort is that it's a universal tool. You don't need special equipment or circumstances to use it. All you need is the willingness to step into something hard. Start small if you have to. Take cold showers. Wake up earlier than you want to. Say yes to opportunities that scare you. These aren't just random acts of discipline, they're training. They're rewiring your brain to seek challenges instead of avoiding them. Over time, this mindset becomes a habit. And once it's a habit, you'll find yourself tackling bigger and bigger challenges without hesitation. Discomfort also teaches you to focus. When you're in the middle of something hard, all the noise in your mind fades away. You're not worrying about what people think or what might go wrong tomorrow or what happened yesterday. You're locked into the present moment because the present moment demands all of you. This kind of focus is where breakthroughs happen. It's where you learn what you're really made of. Stepping into discomfort is a choice. Nobody can make you do it. But if you choose it, if you commit to it, you'll discover a version of yourself you never knew existed. That version of you is stronger, tougher, and more capable than the one sitting in comfort. It's the version of you that's waiting to be unleashed. Being brutally honest with yourself is the foundation for unlocking your true potential. It's not easy and it's not pretty. Most people avoid this step because it's uncomfortable. Facing the truth about where you are, what you've done, and where you're falling short can sting. But without that raw, unfiltered honesty, you'll never make real progress. You can't fix what you refuse to see. You can't improve what you're unwilling to confront. It's time to strip away the excuses, silence the justifications, and stop sugarcoating reality. The hardest person to be honest with is yourself. Why? Because it's easier to blame external factors than to take responsibility for where you're at in life. It's easier to say, I don't have enough time than to admit you've been wasting the time you do have. It's easier to say I didn't have the resources than to own up to the fact that you didn't try hard enough with what you had. But deep down, you know the truth. You know when you've been lazy. You know when you've procrastinated. You know when you settle for less than your best. That inner voice, the one you try to drown out with distractions, knows the reality. And until you face it, you're just running in circles. Honesty is painful because it demands accountability. It forces you to acknowledge that your current situation is a reflection of your choices. Sure, there are factors beyond your control, there always are. But how you respond to those factors is entirely up to you. Being honest with yourself means taking ownership of your life. It means admitting that where you are right now, good or bad, is largely the result of your actions or inactions. That's a hard pill to swallow, but it's also liberating because if your choices got you here, then your choices can also get you out. When you start being honest with yourself, you see things clearly. You recognize the habits that are holding you back. Maybe it's staying up late binge watching shows when you should be preparing for the next day. Maybe it's skipping workouts because you don't feel like it. Maybe it's avoiding challenges because you're afraid of failing. Whatever it is, you can't change it until you name it. Self-honesty is about shining a light on those patterns and deciding to break them, no matter how uncomfortable it feels. The truth is, being honest with yourself is the ultimate act of self-respect. It shows that you care enough about your own potential to stop lying to yourself. Lying only keeps you stuck. It creates a false sense of security, a bubble where everything seems fine, even though you know deep down it's not. That bubble will burst eventually, and when it does, the regret of wasted time and opportunities hits hard. Why wait for that moment? Why not burst it yourself and start building something real? Here's the key: honesty isn't just about pointing out what's wrong. It's about using that awareness as a starting point for change. When you admit that you've been slacking, it's not about beating yourself up. It's about asking, what can I do differently when you face the fact that you're not where you want to be? It's not about giving up. It's about mapping a path forward. Brutal honesty is a tool, not a punishment. It's the flashlight you use to navigate the darkness of doubt and uncertainty. Being honest with yourself doesn't mean you'll have all the answers right away. It doesn't mean you'll suddenly transform overnight. but it does mean you'll stop living in denial. You'll stop pretending everything is fine when it's not. And from that place of truth, you can start making choices that align with the person you want to become. Every great achievement starts with a decision to face reality, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Honesty is the first step in that journey. Without it, you'll keep spinning your wheels, stuck in the same place, wondering why nothing is changing. With it, you gain the clarity and power to move forward, one honest step at a time. Taking ownership of your life is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. It means accepting full responsibility for where you are, what you've achieved, and what you haven't. It's about recognizing that while you may not control everything that happens to you, you absolutely control how you respond, how you act, and how you move forward. This is the foundation of true potential, realizing that the power to change, to grow, and to succeed is entirely in your hands. The world is full of excuses, and they're easy to grab onto. I don't have enough time. I wasn't born into the right circumstances. I don't have the support I need. These excuses might feel valid in the moment, but the truth is, they're just walls you build around yourself to avoid taking responsibility. When you take ownership, you tear those walls down. You stop looking for reasons why you can't, and you start focusing on how you can. Ownership begins with accountability. It's about standing up and saying, this is my life and I'm in charge of it. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody owes you anything. You have to save yourself. That means owning your choices, the good, the bad, and everything in between. If you're not where you want to be, ask yourself why. Look at your habits, your mindset, and your actions. Are they aligned with your goals? If not, what are you going to do about it? Ownership doesn't leave room for blame. It doesn't allow you to point fingers at your past, your parents, or your circumstances. It forces you to look in the mirror and take control. Taking ownership also means letting go of the victim mindset. Life isn't fair. Nobody said it would be. Bad things happen, challenges arise, and setbacks are inevitable. But staying stuck in a victim mentality only keeps you powerless. Ownership flips the script. It says, this happened, but I decide what happens next. You can't control the storms that come your way, but you can control whether you let them destroy you or use them to grow stronger. One of the hardest parts of taking ownership is confronting the truth about your habits and decisions. It's easy to convince yourself that you're doing everything you can when you're really just coasting. Ownership requires you to ask tough questions. Are you truly giving your best effort, or are you holding back? Are you making excuses for not following through, or are you taking deliberate steps toward your goals? These are hard questions, but they're necessary. Without them, you'll never break free from mediocrity. When you take ownership, you stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect conditions. You realize that perfection doesn't exist and that waiting is just another form of procrastination. Instead, you act. You take what you have right now, no matter how small or imperfect, and you use it. You find a way to move forward, even if it's just one step at a time. Ownership is about progress, not perfection. Ownership also builds confidence. When you take responsibility for your actions and choices, you stop being at the mercy of outside forces. You realize that your success isn't determined by luck or chance, it's determined by your effort and commitment. This creates a sense of control over your life, and with that control comes confidence. You begin to trust yourself to handle whatever comes your way because you know you're in charge. Most importantly, taking ownership empowers you to shape your future. When you stop blaming others and start owning your role in your life, you gain the power to change it. You're no longer stuck reacting to the world around you. You become the one creating your own path. Ownership isn't about perfection. It's about taking responsibility for your imperfections and using them as fuel to grow. Your potential is waiting for you to claim it, but it requires ownership. It requires you to stop looking outward for answers and start looking inward. When you own your life, you own your future. That's where real power lies. Talk is cheap. Action is everything. How many times have you heard someone say, I'm going to do this or I'm going to accomplish that, only to see them do nothing? Maybe you've been that person yourself. We all have at some point. But the truth is, words mean nothing without the follow through to back them up. If you want to reach your true potential, it's not about what you say you're going to do. It's about what you actually do day in and day out, especially when no one is watching. Promises and plans are easy. They require nothing but a moment's thought and a few words. Action, on the other hand, is hard. It's messy. It requires effort, persistence, and sacrifice. That's why most people stop at talking. They think saying the right things is enough to move the needle. It's not. The only thing that moves you forward is consistent, intentional effort. Every goal you've ever dreamed of achieving is waiting on the other side of action, not words. Action isn't glamorous. It's waking up early to train when your body is screaming for more sleep. It's putting in hours of work when no one's around to praise you for it. It's grinding through the boring, repetitive tasks that aren't fun but are necessary. Action doesn't care about how you feel or whether you're motivated. It cares about whether you show up. Motivation comes and goes. Action stays. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for the right time to start. They wait until they feel ready, until the conditions are perfect, or until they've worked out every little detail. But here's the truth. There's no such thing as the right time. There's only now. The perfect conditions you're waiting for are an illusion. Life will always throw challenges, distractions, and uncertainties in your path. If you wait for everything to line up perfectly, you'll be waiting forever. The people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who wait, they're the ones who start, even when it's hard, messy, and uncertain. Taking action requires courage. It means stepping into the unknown, risking failure, and putting yourself on the line. It's scary, and that fear keeps a lot of people stuck. They'd rather talk about what they're going to do than risk looking foolish if they fail. But here's the thing, failure is part of the process. Every action you take, even if it doesn't work out, teaches you something. It moves you closer to where you want to be. You can't learn, grow, or improve without action. Talking might protect your ego, but action builds your resilience. Action also requires consistency. It's not enough to do something once and then sit back, waiting for results. You have to keep showing up, even when it feels like nothing's happening. That's where most people fall short. They expect instant gratification. When they don't see immediate results, they stop. But true potential isn't unlocked in a single moment of effort. It's unlocked through the cumulative power of consistent action over time. Every small step you take adds up. Every day you show up, you're building momentum. Another key part of taking action is focus. It's easy to get caught up in distractions, to chase after too many goals at once, or to spread yourself too thin. But when you try to do everything, you end up doing nothing well. Taking action means narrowing your focus, deciding what matters most, and committing to it fully. It's not about doing everything, it's about doing the right things consistently. Action is also about taking responsibility. It's easy to talk about your goals and blame external factors when you don't achieve them. But when you take action, you're taking ownership of your journey. You're saying, this is my life, and I'm going to do what it takes to make it happen. There's no room for excuses when you're in the middle of the work. The bottom line is this action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, all the plans, dreams, and words in the world mean nothing. It's not about what you say you'll do someday. It's about what you're willing to do today. Talk inspires others for a moment, but action inspires yourself for a lifetime. It's time to stop talking and start doing. Pain, struggle, and sacrifice are not obstacles. They are the path to unlocking your true potential. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort, trying to shield themselves from anything that feels difficult or unpleasant. But growth does not happen in the easy moments. It happens in the grind, in the moments when everything inside you screams to stop, but you keep going. If you want to reach your true potential, you have to embrace the grind and accept that suffering is part of the process. Suffering isn't something to fear, it's something to use. It's a tool that sharpens your mind, strengthens your body, and fortifies your spirit. Every time you face a challenge that pushes you beyond your limits, you're breaking down old barriers and rebuilding yourself stronger. Pain is not your enemy, it's your teacher. It reveals weaknesses you need to address, forces you to focus, and shows you how far you're willing to go to achieve your goals. Avoiding pain might feel good in the moment, but it only keeps you stuck in the same place, far from your potential. The grind is where transformation happens. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's choosing discipline over convenience, effort over excuses, and persistence over giving up. It's the small, unremarkable moments that most people overlook, but that add up to greatness over time. The grind doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired, discouraged, or doubting yourself. It only cares whether you show up and put in the work day after day without fail. Suffering teaches you resilience. It shows you that you're capable of more than you thought. The first time you face a difficult challenge, it feels overwhelming, maybe even impossible. But when you push through, when you endure the discomfort and refuse to quit, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your pain. Each time you do this, your tolerance for hardship increases. What used to feel impossible becomes manageable, and what used to feel hard becomes routine. This is how you grow. This is how you discover the strength you didn't know you had. Sacrifice is another key part of the equation. To reach your true potential, you have to let go of what's holding you back. That might mean sacrificing comfort, free time, or even relationships that don't support your growth. Sacrifice is hard because it forces you to prioritize what matters most. It forces you to choose your goals over immediate gratification. But every sacrifice you make is an investment in your future. It's a way of telling yourself and the world that you're serious about becoming the best version of yourself. The grind also teaches you discipline. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays. It's what gets you out of bed when you don't feel like it. It's what keeps you going when progress feels slow. Discipline is built in the grind, in those moments when you're tired, frustrated, or doubting yourself, but you choose to keep going anyway. Over time, this discipline becomes a habit, and that habit becomes the foundation of your success. Suffering strips away the unnecessary. When you're in the middle of a hard workout, a tough project, or a challenging situation, all the distractions fade away. You're not worrying about what people think about trivial problems or about things you can't control. You're focused on the task at hand, on pushing through the discomfort and getting to the other side. This kind of focus is rare, and it's where breakthroughs happen. The grind is a test of your commitment. Anyone can set a goal. Anyone can dream big, but only a few are willing to endure the struggle required to achieve it. The grind weeds out the pretenders from the real contenders. It asks you, how bad do you want it, and demands an answer through your actions, not your words. Every time you choose to embrace the grind, you're proving to yourself that you have what it takes to succeed. The grind and the suffering are not punishment, they're a gift. They're the price of greatness, and they're what separate those who talk about their potential from those who live it. Suffering isn't the end of the journey, it's the beginning of transformation. If you want to reach your true potential, you have to be willing to suffer for it. Because on the other side of the pain, the sacrifice, and the grind is the version of you that you've always wanted to become. Finding your true potential is not a one-time event. It's not about reaching a single destination and saying, I've made it. Instead, it's an ongoing journey that requires constant effort, learning, and growth. Every time you achieve a goal, you unlock new possibilities, new challenges, and new opportunities to evolve. Each level you reach reveals even greater potential within you, demanding more from you as you continue to climb. This is the essence of growth that never ends. The pursuit of your true potential is a continuous process, not a finish line. When you begin this journey, you might think of success in terms of a specific goal or achievement, but as you progress, you realize that true potential isn't about reaching a fixed point. It's about constantly pushing forward, consistently improving, and continually evolving. The moment you think you've reached the peak, you'll discover a new horizon to chase. There's always a new challenge, a new limit to test, a new version of yourself waiting to be revealed. Success isn't a place to rest, it's the fuel that drives you to reach even higher. This ongoing journey requires a mindset shift. Many people view success as a final destination, but it's more like a series of stepping stones, each one leading to the next. As you climb, the obstacles become tougher, the road steeper, and the work harder, but that's the point. Each level of success demands more from you. The person you were when you first started on this journey is not the same person you'll be when you reach the next level. Growth happens when you're stretched, when you face difficulties that push you beyond what you thought was possible. It's the struggle that forces you to grow. If you want to discover your true potential, you need to get comfortable with the idea of perpetual progress. It's easy to get caught up in the illusion that there's a point where you'll be done, that one day you'll be able to stop and relax because you've achieved it all. But the truth is, once you achieve one goal, you'll start setting another. The process never ends. And that's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. Every new level of success will challenge you in different ways, but it will also reveal more of your capabilities, more of your strength, and more of your resilience. This continuous journey means embracing the ups and downs. There will be times when you feel like you're making significant progress, and there will be times when it seems like nothing is happening at all. There will be moments of rapid growth followed by periods of plateau, but that's all part of the process. Success isn't linear. There will be times of rapid change, and there will be times of slow, steady development. Both are necessary. If you only had smooth sailing, you wouldn't grow. The setbacks, the failures, the moments when you feel stuck, these are the moments that teach you the most. They force you to adapt, to reassess, to dig deeper, and to push harder. Every obstacle you face in this ongoing journey is an opportunity to strengthen yourself. The more you persevere through challenges, the more resilient you become. Overcoming obstacles builds mental toughness, which becomes a powerful tool as you continue your journey toward your full potential. And as you become tougher, you'll start to see things differently. The obstacles you once saw as insurmountable will become just another part of the journey. You will begin to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones, essential parts of your growth. As you continue this journey, it's important to recognize that growth isn't just about achieving external success, it's about internal transformation. It's about becoming the kind of person who refuses to quit, who pushes through pain and discomfort, and who takes responsibility for their life. Your true potential is found not just in what you achieve, but in who you become along the way. The person you are today isn't the person you were when you started. You've grown, you've learned, and you've developed in ways you didn't even realize. The key to finding your true potential is to stay committed to the journey, even when it feels like the road is never ending. It's understanding that growth doesn't stop, that there's always a new challenge, a new opportunity, and a new version of yourself to become. Embrace the process, trust in the journey, and keep pushing forward, because every step you take brings you closer to becoming the person you are meant to be. Finding your true potential is an ongoing journey of growth, resilience, and constant effort. It's about pushing past comfort, embracing challenges, and continuously evolving. Success isn't a final destination, but a process that demands commitment and discipline. As long as you keep moving forward, embracing the grind, and learning from every setback, you'll unlock new levels of strength, focus, and greatness within yourself. Keep pushing your true potentials, always just beyond the next step.